Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sketch by Sketch. Today I'm going to be doing a Halloween themed video yet again for the month of October, and today I'm going to be drawing my Halloween costume this year. I've kind of been hinting at this in the last couple videos, and I knew that at the end of October I did want to do this video, but here we go, here it finally is, and so let me go ahead and show you some pictures of my costume. Here they are. This year I decided to do kind of like a Karate Kid Cobra Kai themed costume, and I'm wearing Johnny's red leather jacket from the original Karate Kid movie and the headband, and I just really love 80s movies, and Cobra Kai is like one of my favorite TV shows, so I knew that I wanted to do something this year from that show and those movies. So this is kind of what I came up with. It was a super fun costume, absolutely loved wearing it, and I just really loved the way that it all turned out, so I just had to do a drawing of my costume. Okay, so for the actual drawing, as usual, I'm using my ELO sketchbook, and to start out the sketch, I'm using a mechanical pencil and a kneaded eraser. This is how I like to start most of my sketches if I'm planning on doing coloring and liner and all of that. I just find that the mechanical pencils erase just a little bit better than like colored pencils, so I just recommend drawing really lightly with the mechanical or just like a regular like lead pencil instead of using a colored pencil. And I'm just starting with kind of flowy details, as you can see, and now I'm just kind of adding in the features and really building up this drawing in the sketch, but I still want to keep it really loose, and I just want this to be a cute little sketch here, so nothing too fancy. I'm still keeping it very cartoony, but definitely starting out with little detail and then I'm adding it in. This was such a fun costume to kind of draw and look at all the details and add them in, and then for the hair, which I'm going to start drawing here in a second, I decided to go with kind of like an 80s feel. As you saw from the pictures, my hair wasn't this big, but I like to, when I do my cartoon style, kind of exaggerate everything. So I made the hair really big and fluffy. I just decided to go for the 80s look because the movie came out in the 80s, and I just thought it would be so much more fun, and I always am looking for an excuse to get to do some 80s hair and makeup. It's super fun. Alright, now I'm drawing the jacket. I'm adding in all the folds. Typically the jacket is worn with the sleeves kind of rolled up, and that's how I wore it at the party, Halloween party that I had. So that is how I am drawing it right here. And then I'm just adding in some basic jeans, and of course the fingerless gloves as another accessory. Alright, the sketch is looking really cute. I'm just kind of adding in those final details like the Cobra Kai patch on the jacket and just adding in the folds and the zippers, and that looks pretty good for the sketch. Alright, I usually cut out the inking process on my videos, but since it is the month of October and this drawing was one of my Inktober drawings, I decided to go ahead and kind of show you the inking process at least a little bit, just so you could see kind of how I do it. Again, if you want a tutorial on anything I'm doing today, then make sure to leave me a comment. I definitely am looking for some video requests, so anything you guys can think of would be great, just to leave me a comment. I'm just using a basic fine liner pen. I got these off Amazon. They're pretty cheap, but I like them, and I definitely like to use them in my sketchbook a lot. So I'm not using anything fancy here. You can use supplies that you already have, but I am using a size 0.4, I think it is, and I'm just kind of I'm being controlled with the pen, but I'm also kind of keeping it a little bit loose and sketchy just to keep the cartoon style and nothing too stiff. Here, when I'm adding the hair, I'm just adding a lot of strands just so it looks a little bit more realistic and not so block-like. I want it to actually look like hair, so I'm adding lots of strands and just being really loose with this, adding all the curls and really not being too stiff with the lines, keeping them really light, and drawing all those details in. I also like to add little highlights on the cheeks, as you saw I just did right there. I just think it looks cute, and it's just a little something that I like to add. The main focus of a character is probably their face, so as you can see, I kept it a little bit darker, a little bit more refined, and then now all these other details that, like the jacket and the hair, I'm being a little lighter, a little sloppier with the liner. I just think that that really kind of ties it all in together. If the face has a little bit more definition, but then you can add a little bit more of those sketchy lines on the rest of the drawing. Of course, if the outfit was a little more detailed, like a really fancy dress or something like that, you may not want to take that approach, but for this drawing and this style that I'm going for today, I think that it looks really great. Making sure to add all the folds in the clothing. One mistake that I made a lot when I was just starting out drawing is I didn't add really any folds or any movement to clothing. It was just one straight block of whatever the clothing was, and something that just really elevates your art really quickly is to just add a little bit of movement or wrinkles in the clothes, even if you're not putting them in the right place. I know that I just kind of throw them on there sometimes. It still is going to add that look of a little more lifelike, and it's just going to look a little more put together. So there's a tip for you if you want to quickly elevate any of your drawings. Also use the pen to color in a little bit of the details like the shirt and the headband. I just like the way that that looks, especially when I'm sketching in my sketchbook. Also colored in the gloves a little bit with that pen. Just going in, adding any details that I think it needs, and we're about finished with the line art. Alright, liner is done and we're ready to start coloring. Today I thought I would take a break from the Ohuhu markers and try out these Artify markers. I've had them for a while, I just haven't used them because I love my Ohuhu markers so much, but these are great markers as well. They just don't have a brush tip. They have a fine tip and a chisel tip, but just for this sketchbook drawing, I'm making it work. Alright, so the method I'm going for today is I'm going in with a darker red color for this jacket, and I'm going to outline kind of all of the lines of it, all the wrinkles, and where I put my line art, just to kind of define the overall look of the jacket and to keep those lines dark and visible when we add the other color. And as you can see, I'm just kind of swatching on the side of the page. It's a sketch, so I'm not really too worried about that today. Alright, now that I've added the base of those lines, I'm going to go in and color in this whole jacket with red. Now this jacket is leather and it's a little bit shiny, so I am leaving a little bit of white space just here and there, just to kind of create that pop of highlights and to make it really look like it's a shiny jacket. As you can see, those darker red lines still show through, and it really just makes the look of the jacket pop and look a little more put together, and like I put more detail into it, and it was just a quick little fix. There I was just adding a little bit of an orange tone over top of that, just to keep it from looking too burgundy colored. Now I'm just going to color in that logo. I didn't spend too much time on that logo, but you definitely get the picture and what it is, so I didn't really worry about spending too much time on that. Alright, now I'm selecting some other colors just to kind of add in a little bit more of a shadow. This is more of a maroon color, just something that's going to show up against that red color without making the overall jacket look too dark. I might have already said this, but definitely make sure you're swatching your colors before you use them, because you want your color scheme to look cohesive and everything to go together. So just make sure you're swatching your colors before you put them down. Alright, now I'm going to color these jeans. I'm not going to do anything too fancy here, just color them in. I used more of a grayish blue color here just so it didn't clash with the jacket. I kind of want that jacket to be the pop of color in this, so I kind of kept everything else a little more muted. And again, I left a little bit of white space just to add that highlighted look. Okay, so I thought the color was just a little bit too gray, so I added a little bit of this blue color over top, but they still look muted enough that they're not clashing with the color of the jacket, and it all just kind of goes together. I definitely recommend layering colors for jeans when you're drawing jeans, just because they're usually not all one color and they have different washes to them, so just layer the colors of the jeans. Alright, now I'm going in with a very dark gray color. It's almost black, and I'm going to color in the headband and these gloves where I already added in that color with the line art, and then I'm going to go ahead and color the shirt as well. For larger areas, I like to use the chisel tip to color stuff in, because I think the fine tip just is a little bit harder to work with. Alright, now I'm going in with a dark brown color to color in the hair. I'm just kind of doing the overall outline like I did with that jacket first, just to kind of create the basic dark shadows. So just kind of filling in a little bit of the space and leaving some of it white. And like I said, I kind of over exaggerated the big hair in this drawing, but I think it just kind of adds to it and makes it really cute. So I don't mind it. I think it looks adorable. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, make sure you are, because coming up probably this Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a tour of all of my Inktober drawings this year and my thoughts about this year's challenge. I'm probably not going to be fully completing it, but I've got like 29 drawings done, I think, so I almost completed it, but I'm very excited to show you guys all of the artwork that I created. So make sure you're subscribed and you've got notifications on so you don't miss it. Alright, back to the drawing. I did fill in a little bit of that hair color with a lighter shade, and now I'm going in with kind of this sand color to start adding color to the skin. Always remember to preserve a little bit of white space just for those highlights. I know I keep mentioning the highlights, but I think that's something that really makes your drawings pop and not look so over blended if you just have some white highlights in there, especially for sketches. So just keep that in mind when you're sketching or drawing. Now I'm just going in with a darker tone just to add those shadows. Recently, I've been trying to pay a little more attention to where the light is coming from in my drawings and where the highlights are going to be. Before, I just kind of threw some highlights on there wherever they would go. But recently, I've just been trying to really pay attention to where a light source would be coming from and what highlights that would create. Of course, I'm not great at it yet, but I'm still working on it. Alright, now I'm going to add a little bit of makeup here with a darker brown color, just some like eyeshadow and eyeliner and stuff like that. Definitely be really careful when you're adding eye makeup to your drawings, especially under the eyes. I think I might have overdone it just a tiny bit here. It doesn't look bad at all, but I'm just putting the warning out there. Just be really careful when you're adding a dark color on the face. Alright, now I'm going to add a background with some yellow. I think yellow looks really good with the jacket because of the small bit of yellow on the patch, so that is why I went with that color. And then I'm just going to create kind of like a block and kind of fill it in. I don't really get too detailed with my backgrounds. I think for sketches this is all it needs so it doesn't distract from the drawing itself. But I do really like the way that this drawing has turned out, adding a little bit of sparkles here, as you can see. I hope you enjoyed this Halloween themed video. This is probably the last Halloween video for this year, but lots of fall and Christmas videos to come, so make sure you leave your requests down below for things you want to see this holiday season. I had a lot of fun doing these Inktober drawings with you this year in all of these Halloween videos, so hopefully you enjoyed them. Leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next art video. Bye, and thanks!